Hello Lovelies! This is Megan from Little Hot Tamale, and today we're going to make a fun holiday banner. So go get your craft supplies and let's get started. Alright, to start off with, I'm using Project Life cards, and if you don't have Project Life cards, that is totally okay. You can always create your own by cutting paper to 3 by 4 inches. To make my banner just a little bit more festive, I chose a sweet coffee theme. So I used images like gingerbread men, coffee, donuts, cookies, stuff like that. So some of the cards I'm going to add some extra embellishments, and other ones I'm just going to leave plain. It just depends on what the image looks like. So for example, this one had a small print on it, so I added some extra layering. Before we decorate any more of our cards, we are going to make some hole reinforcements. To do this, we're going to use a tiny hole punch first, and then we're going to take a circle paper punch and try to line it up so that the original circle is in the center. I find that this order is the easiest way to create hole reinforcements. Okay, so now we're going to make a template for our holes. So you're going to take your hole reinforcements that you just created and put them on the top left hand and right hand corners. Use a pencil to mark the center point and then punch the holes. So then you have a perfect template to measure on all of your cards. And this way, all of your holes will be in the same place on all of your cards. And next we're just going to glue all of our sparkly hole reinforcements on all of our cards. And if you're wondering, the glue I'm using is tacky glue. Alright, back to the fun part. Now it's time to decorate again. Okay, so we're going to start off with the donut card, and to be honest, it really didn't need anything, but I thought it would be fun to add the word party because it's for a holiday banner. When you're working with letters in a tiny space, lay them out first and then glue the center and work your way out. This way you know that you have enough room and everything is symmetrical. For our next card, this one's a little bit more plain. It doesn't have a bold image like the donut card or the coffee cup. I decided to decorate it. So running down the right hand side, I'm using some Scrabble letters that spell out winter. For this card, I'm gluing from the bottom upwards because I don't really care if this one is symmetrical or not on the side. It says, "So much fun." Because this phrase is because the border is mint green and the other one was pink, and I already had a lot of pink on the page already. Alright, and I'm just gluing everything down, and there you go. Oh, and one more thing, I decided to add this fun tab on the side, just to add a little bit more pink. To add some diversity to our banner, we're going to create some triangle shapes. So first you're going to take a scrap piece of paper and fold it in half, and then measure on one side 1 3/4, and then on the folded side 5 inches. And then you're just going to create a line from those 2 points. If you don't like this shape, that's totally fine. You don't even have to add this to your banner. I just thought it would be fun to include it. Now I'm just going to use my template and trace on 7 triangles. If you line your triangles up side by side, then you can get the most out of your paper. The paper I'm using is a cardstock that is actually printer paper. For our triangles, we are going to create several different layers. Our first layer, we're going to use a stencil, and this one is the Honeycomb Stencil by Prima. And we're going to blend some angel pink ink in a circular motion on the pendants. And I'm just doing this in small areas in different spots on all the different triangles. Okay, so our next step is to add some fun texture. So I'm just using some doilies in a combination of mint, pink, and white. And I'm just going to glue them here and there in different spots. For the triangles, we'll have pink and white, and then the other half will be mint and white. And if you were curious, the mint doilies are from the Dollar Tree, the pink ones are from Michael's, and then the white ones are from Walmart. If you don't have the same supplies as me, don't worry, you can still create a beautiful banner. For example, you can create a watercolor background, you can draw images, you can use washi tape and put them on there in all different directions, maybe add pom-poms or ribbon. Seriously, you can do anything. And I'll leave a link down below for the watercolor technique just in case you don't know how to do it and you want to try it out. Okay, so back to the doilies. I'm just adding them to different spots on all of the triangles. I also wanted to note that the doilies are overlapping the first layer that we created. Now I'm just adding some white ink to the edges with my blending tool. I really like the appearance of this because it's very subtle and it looks like it has a frosted look. Perfect for winter. We're going to use some modeling paste. Now I just want to tell you, you only need a little bit because it goes a long ways. You can make your modeling paste any color you want, and I wanted mine to be a very light blue, so I'm going to use turquoise and white and blend it together. Okay, so now we're going to try and add the paste to our triangles. I emphasize the word try because I have such a hard time using stencils. So I'm using a burlap stencil by Tim Holtz, and I'm laying it on the triangles and adding just a little bit of modeling paste to my palette knife. It's going to swipe it across the stencil in small areas in different places. Occasionally you might want to wipe off the back with a napkin or a baby wipe. I had some modeling paste left over, so I decided to add it to a piece of paper to make tags out of for a future project. For our final layer, we're just going to add some splatters of Color Shine by Heidi Swapp in gold. Okay, so while everything's drying, we're going to work on our embellishments. Rosettes, I'm using a mint crepe paper that I found at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just cutting it in half for the size. Now, if you don't know how to make the rosettes, I'll leave a tutorial link down below so you can check it out. For the silver mini cupcake liners, I'm going to add some slits all the way around the liner. For me, this was the easiest way to work with this particular cupcake liner, because the liner seemed like it was made out of tin foil instead of paper. So once you have your rosettes and your liner cut, you're going to staple them together and then cut a little bit off the sides to make them appear smaller. In the center of the rosettes, I'm going to add some fun, sweet themed embellishments. I really like how these turned out. They kind of remind me of some retro Christmas ornaments. For the cookie embellishments, I thought it would be fun to add some silver thread to the backs. To add the thread easily, I'm just going to first put some sticky thumb tape, bunch up the thread on the back, kind of stick it to it, here and there, and then to lock it all in place, I'm just going to add another piece of sticky thumb tape. Then you can repeat the process on your other. We're going to add some circle reinforcers to our triangles. The same exact process that we did for the Project Life cards. Make a template, mark the centers, and punch the holes. And of course, add the circle reinforcers after everything is done. I also wanted to point out that I added some stitching on the left and right sides, but that's totally optional. Now we're going to add our handmade embellishments here and there on all of the triangles. And I tried to alternate the different embellishments. So for example, I did a rosette, and then I did a cookie, and then I did a rosette, and then I did a cookie. place them anywhere you want on your banner. And I just chose to put them in different places on all of them. Okay, so now we're just going to place our Project Life cards in between each of the triangles. Okay, so once you're satisfied with your order of your banner, we're going to attach everything with a piece of string or ribbon. Just depends on what you want to use, but I chose to use some eyelash yarn because it reminds me of tinsel. And to make it easier for me to string all the banner pieces on the eyelash yarn, I put some Scotch tape on the end and kind of rolled it to make it kind of like a needle. So you're going to take your ribbon and go from the front to the back, from the back to the front. Kind of like a running stitch. And for the finishing touch, we're going to add some gemstones and some half pearls. I think that's what they're called. It's the blue things. So I bought the gemstones at Hobby Lobby, and the pearls, well, whatever they're called, are from the Dollar Tree. So that's one way to make a fun festive banner for the holidays. Thank you so much for watching, and if you decide to create a festive banner, please use the hashtag #LittleHotTamale on Instagram because I would love to see your masterpiece. So I hope you have an amazing day. Toodles!